Well, hello and welcome to our Eat Clean and Cancer module. I'm sitting here with Tosca. We're going to have a discussion about Eat Clean and Cancer and how we can take these strategies back to our kitchen and begin to make the changes for a healthier, clean eating lifestyle. So let's start by talking a little bit about strategies to fortify the immune system.
Okay, well, hi, Nikki. It's nice to be here.
Nice to have you, Tosca.
I'm really thrilled to be bending your ear, the listener, to this. To me, such an exciting module because, cancer, unfortunately, is really overtaking us, and that's not right. Mm-hmm. And one of the absolutely most powerful things you can do is fortify your immune system right in your own kitchen. Well, it starts really in the grocery store. And everybody who knows the Eating Clean principles and who knows Toscarina knows that I have a sugar button. And if you hit it, you will hear me go on endlessly about the negatives of sugar. But let's think about it a little differently. Let's think about sugar this way. What is the one food that you're eating today and you think you just can't live without it? Often when I'm working with clients, what I get most is chocolate, alcohol.
I was going to say there's mine, red wine.
Right? And the very sugary coffees. And when you think about that, coffee to me is just a vehicle to get the creamy sweeteners in, the fake vanilla almond milk in there, the sugar. So let's think about our sugar consumption from that point of view and also think about this unique link. When cancer doctors are diagnosing or looking for cancer in the body, they actually use sugar as part of their diagnostic arsenal because cancer has an affinity for sugar. Cancer cells thrive on sugar. So every time that we're having, a shot of scotch or a big fat brownie or ice cream, and we're doing this repeatedly because it's the food we can't live without, we're giving cancer cells a leg up. Right. We're saying, hey guys, get on in there and have a go, know. And so we want to not allow that to happen. We don't want the immune system overpowered. The body has its own intelligent immune system. It works 24/7 to keep us healthy. It can lose its way sometimes. So what we want to do is give the body, the immune system, every possible opportunity to shore up, to strengthen itself. And how does it do that? Through nutrition, through minerals, through fats, vitamins, enzymes, good carbs, all those fiber even, and through fermented foods. So we want to take the value of those messages and really sit down and think about our body on the inside. If you close your eyes for a second and think, well, where have I given the cells in my body the go ahead to really drink up this sugar? And how can I flip that around in my kitchen? Okay, well, that's easy, right? So we can say if I'm having a Tim's double with triple sugar, who knows what, every morning, I could probably cut that back a bit. I can make the change. I can say, well, maybe I'll just do a double or a single scoop of sugar and ultimately move yourself to zero. If it's wine that you're having, let's try to go for red wine. Let's go for biodynamic, organic if you can. And by all means, every time that you're drinking that glass of red wine, a handful of nuts in the other hand. Because the fats from the nuts will help slow down the release of sugars into the body. And that's a better mixture than just having a big shot. Also, so sugar will be, it'll be a job. Sugar's everywhere.
Yes.
And so it's just a process you'll have to go through. And there's tons of support out there. So seek it. You'll find it with CanFit Pro, with our webinars, with your personal trainer, with myself. There's all kinds of programs. Another way that we can shore up the immune system is through eating more greens. So you might think to yourself, well, how can I have greens in the morning? And I can't eat greens all day, but it's amazingly easy to do.
Yes.
All right? So when I say greens, I'm talking about green leafy vegetables. I'm talking about kale. Don't worry, there's going to be a recipe. I'll show you what the greens are. We won't send you away empty-handed, but greens are basically greens. And when you walk through the produce aisle and you're looking at the arugula and the spinach and the endive and the frisee and all the colors of the rainbow of greens, load up your cart. Whenever I go to the grocery store, I load up on greens. The clerk will say, is somebody in your house juicing? I'm like, no, I just eat a lot of greens. That's a lot of greens. And don't forget to overlook the herbs, the fresh herbs.
Yes.
Leaves of basil, chives, sage, oregano, thyme. Throw that all into that mix of greens as well. And guess what? Have it for breakfast. Have a pile of greens. You can saute winter greens, or you can just have fresh spring greens. And then put a couple of whole eggs. I usually just do them easy over with a little bit of turmeric to also switch on that cancer fighting ability.
So do you use fresh turmeric? That's really interesting, because for the first time, and you and I have been friends for a long time, and you've been talking about turmeric forever. Yeah. I was in my local supermarket, and there it was fresh. Never seen it fresh before.
Yeah.
So how would you use it? Do you grate it?
I do.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would just get a grater, and I grate some fresh turmeric into a hot pan. You have to have, this is interesting about turmeric, and it is a powerful cancer-fighting agent. So by all means, introduce it into your diet. A little bit of coconut oil in the pan, because the coconut oil has a high smoke point, so it will be heat stable while you cook.
Okay.
Throw the grated turmeric in there, a little pinch of cracked black pepper, because the pepper has the vehicle called piperin that takes the agents in the turmeric into the cells, into your body.
Okay.
And then throw your eggs into the pan, easy over, plop them on top of your greens. You hardly even need a dressing because the yolk will come out.
No, you're making me a little bit hungry now, actually, because I love breakfast.
Yeah, and me too. I'm a big breakfast fan. And I go to little restaurants and places where I'm a fan and a frequent buyer of breakfast, and they now know, like, you have to have salad greens for Tosca when she comes. Yeah, but so it's easy, right? And then let's say you're going to work and you're going to have, well, how am I going to get my greens in for the rest of the day? Well, make a big mix of the greens, chuck them into a container, have your toppings, that's your salad. But you can also have spinach and kale and throw them into a smoothie for your mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks.
Yes.
Easy peasy. This is not hard. And the good thing about greens is you can eat them raw or cooked, right? If kale, for example, takes a lot of chewing to get through kale. My favorite thing to do with kale is we need some fat, right? We have to release, because kale contains A, D, E, and K. We want those vitamins, but how do you release them? With fat. Get the kale leaves in your bowl, get an avocado, take the pit out, scoop the flesh into your hand, and literally mash it in your hand, and then massage it through the kale.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of garlic in there. Now you've got kale that, well, it's kind of semi-soft, it's easier to chew, and you can make that into a salad or chuck it in a pan and saute it quickly.
Yeah.
It's delicious. So really, having greens is not hard. And greens like kale and collards and mustard greens and beet greens, we're eating so much of them that they're coming down in price a bit. So really, they're quite available to all of us.
So what about seasonal eating? Well, we're talking about greens and getting those into our diet, and I can begin to see how we can do that. What about going to the grocery store and buying what's in season?
Yes. So that's what I do. I try to look for local in season first, because I know that if I'm getting local and in season, it's both cheaper, but it's also nutritionally more dense, because likely it's come from a farm close to me. It hasn't spent 6 hours on a plane from South America. So I feel good about that, right? And so I will eat in season, because I also want the nutrients that are in peak or at their peak right now, because that's probably what my system needs.
Yeah.
So that's a great point, and it's cheaper for your wallet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shall we touch on organic, non-organic when it comes to this? Because if we're talking about our wallets, we all know that is a big sticking point. People do want to make those changes, but it's very expensive to buy organic all the time.
And I'm going to just step it back one and say, it is very, very difficult when you're eating clean to overeat. Because when you are nutritionally satisfied, you can't eat 10 beets in a row. You just can't do it, right? So ultimately, it's less expensive to eat clean because the foods are more nutritionally dense. But it will feel more expensive when you're making the purchases because, yes, in many cases, they are more expensive. However, it's an investment in your health for life. And cancer, diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, these are tragedies. And these are diseases that we don't have to accept as the way it will be for us. And they're also expensive.
Yeah.
They cost a lot of money. They cost our governments, our healthcare systems, and ourselves a lot of money. So your investment in yourself starts with the foods you source. You don't need to eat a lot of them, but you do need to eat them.
Yeah, and the quality. And there's a
Yes.
saying that I heard recently, which is if you don't invest in yourself now and your wellness and your diet, you'll be investing a lot when you become ill, when in
Exactly.
healthcare. And like you say, it's
Yeah.
expensive to be
Either
sick.
way.
Yeah.
And the other way I like to put it is your health is your wealth.
Mm,
That's your
yes.
true wealth.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So we've
So
touched on that then. Fermented foods, and I
yes.
know people who are doing this course may or may not be familiar to
Yeah.
fermented foods. They may or may not know what they taste like or whether they're even going to like them. So how on earth do we take fermented foods back to our kitchen if we haven't worked with them or tried them before?
It's interesting because fermented foods used to be on the kitchen tables and plates of our own grandparents, right, as a regular thing. And there's a brilliance in that because fermented foods, and I'm talking about things like sauerkraut, pickles. I'm talking about what else? Kefir, yogurt, kimchi, natto, tamari, soy, tempeh. All of these foods, right, have a place for us. What's fabulous is science has now come up with facts, actually research and science to show us that fermented foods like kefir actually have certain molecules that will coat the digestive tract and prevent toxins from causing damage in the digestive tract. So there's a beneficial effect to kefir. There's a beneficial effect to drinking kombucha. It's fermented mushroom tea, basically. Sounds horrible, but it is a total tonic for the body. Kimchi, for example, also fermented. Raw sauerkraut. Okay, think about that green we all know and love and sort of hate, which is cabbage, right? Very stinky. We're going to talk about stinky foods in a minute, but the way that our wise ancestors figured out how to both preserve the cabbage and to get more nutrients out of it is to ferment it. So they sour it, and in that process release more nutrients, vitamin C, the fibers, the enzymes, active enzymes, microbes. Once again, I think microbes is a word that we're going to hear for the next few years. I think it's a key word. Eating more microbes, eating more friendly bacteria.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's definitely happening. And there was a lot of talk about your stomach, your tummy, as I call it, being your second brain. So we have to have that good gut health. So how can we start using these sort of fermented foods? How do we introduce them to people that have never tried them?
Okay, well, if you're a person who likes a good hamburger,
yes, that's true.
Try a little sauerkraut on your burger. Raw fermented sauerkraut. You won't. I like the best ones are really found in the refrigerator aisle. Okay, because they're raw and fermented and delicious. Same with pickles. Everybody loves a pickle. Switch from your regular sort of weirdly green pickle to a raw fermented pickle. Big difference in flavor.
And farmers markets are great for those sort of things, aren't they?
This time of year especially, because harvest season is just on fire, so you'll be finding many places to get these fermented foods. If you haven't been a kefir consumer in the past, try it. Go to your dairy aisle, get a small container, please do, and yogurt the same. Please do not buy the sugary, vanilla, loaded up with fruit, etc. Plain, organic, full fat if possible. If you don't like the tang of it, you can put it into a smoothie base, add your, sweetening layers. Now, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about fruit, a frozen banana. I'm talking about 1 or 2 dates. I'm not talking about sugar.
Yes.
And that will take the edge off. But then you will get the value of those microbes in your digestive tract. Another one I really love is fermented grain breads, meaning sourdough, right? So if you eat sourdough bread over traditional Wonder white bread, you're getting microbes in there. You're getting wild yeast, organisms that are good for the belly. So you're more likely to get better nutrients and less issues from trying to digest that bread.
Yeah. So how does that tie into cancer? I mean, we know that inflammation is a big problem when it comes to allowing cancer to grow. And we talked about the sugar. So how does this good gut health and the fact that the body is in inflammation affect cancer and the growth of cancer?
Well, a number of ways. Think about it. If your food that you're eating isn't clean and just purely because, you just don't know, and we're now enlightening ourselves. If your food hasn't been clean and you've been eating a lot of sugar and not enough greens and things that are really toxic to your body, you're in an inflammatory state. Your immune system's been overwhelmed. It's been taken over. It can't do its job correctly. So you will be in an inflammatory state. You will be working from a position of less than, not more than. So that will give, I'm going to call them pathogens, an opportunity to get leverage in you. If you are someone who's been eating a lot of processed foods, there's really not any opportunity for your body to get ahead. So it's just a matter of time, right? And that's the problem. That's the problem. So don't think about what you may have to give up once you start eating clean. Think about what you will be doing to enhance the ecology of your body from the inside, so you're not putting it in an inflammatory state. You're not robbing yourself of your cognitive powers. You're not robbing yourself of the full human expression of who you are. So all the minerals you can possibly get, all the microbes, all the good fats, all those good nutrients. I know it sounds like a lecture to some of you, but truly this is your opportunity to heal yourself from the inside.
Yeah, and with food, like we say, being able to do it with
not
food.
With drugs or a prescription.
Absolutely. So we mentioned this earlier. So the importance of those stinky cruciferous vegetables and garlic as well.
Well, okay. Yes, some of us do smell badly. but basically the smellier the vegetable, the better for you. It's a sign that something in the way that vegetable was grown there's a molecule in there that it's developed to resist, disease, but that's a benefit for us. In the stinky vegetables, it's particularly indole-3 carbonates. So you want to think about things like Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, mustard greens, collards, garlic, onions, kohlrabi, cabbage. All of those are super powerful in fighting cancer, and they're kind of easy to throw into just about anything because you can eat them raw, you can now eat them fermented, you can eat them lightly steamed, and they'll find a place in basically any meal of the day. And when you eat clean, you're eating 5 to 6 meals, so you're going to need a lot of these vegetables to get you through the day. But that's, again, the opportunity to shore up the immune system. So in your kitchen, for breakfast, steam up some kale if you want to, or mustard greens, and throw your eggs on top of that. Or in the winter, I love to make a winter hash. We're coming up to the fall season, so I get a big pan, olive oil in the bottom or coconut, and then I get a lot of these vegetables, the whole list of them, and there's a list, don't worry. And I just chop them up fine and saute it all together. I add mushrooms. I think that's going to segue into our next. Yeah, we'll talk about mushrooms. And then you have this basically stinky vegetable mix. It's delicious, delicious. But you can have that as a side. You can have it as your lunch with some protein, a couple of hard-boiled eggs or a piece of grilled chicken. It's there, it's easy, right?
And if you're, like we said, having it first thing in the morning, that's giving your immune system a huge, great boost for the day.
It sets the tone in every meal thereafter. And you'll be, the interesting thing is it's like those negative feedback loops, when you're driving on the 401 and it says your speed and you see the sign and you're a little bit over, okay, slow down. Well, to me, when you keep doing this, eating clean, starting with the first meal of the day, it's like a negative feedback loop. I feel so good when I eat that. I don't want to eat that sugary processed cereal anymore. I feel good. I'm going to do that again. So that means my mid-morning snack and my lunch and my mid-afternoon, my dinner. I'm going to eat this way forever, and it just keeps it keeps fulfilling itself. You want to do it again and again because it does feel amazing.
And if in your kitchen you've continually got a good supply of, like we said, the fresh fruit and vegetables, then you can cook up more in the morning and have it for breakfast, and then maybe have it as a snack in the afternoon, and it's just there for you to use during the day.
I call it planned leftovers. Just make a lot and you'll eat it.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the orange, red, and yellow, and eating the colours of the rainbow.
Yeah. So those are your lycopene-containing vegetables, and lycopene is a powerful antioxidant, amazing for cancer. We know, especially with cooked tomatoes, very important. That's one of the red ones. Or nowadays they're yellow and purple.
Yes.
But those are particularly good also for fighting cancer, especially men for prostate. So eat the rainbow when you go. I'm telling you to eat greens, but I want you to eat all the colors too. I want you to eat purples and orange and red and what other color are there?
Yeah.
Right.
Endless.
Yeah. And those vegetables can be eaten. Like I eat peppers out of the hand like an apple.
Yeah.
Crazy. And actually those colors will apply to cantaloupe fruits and vegetables and so on as well. So if you've listened to the other part of the webinar part of the series on eating clean for cancer, you'll learn more about those particular vegetables. But again, when you're in the produce aisle, when you're at the farmer's market, when you're sourcing your nutritional arsenal for fighting cancer, every color counts. Yeah. Every color.
Okay, so then we've left this one till last. This is mushrooms, because we know for thousands of years mushrooms have been used to boost the immune system. Yes. So how do they work, and why are they so important when fighting cancer?
Oh, well, I can't even begin. The science of it is fascinating. Mushrooms are really fungi, right? And they can grow above the earth, below the earth, but they have powerful anti-cancer fighting agents in them. So many, it's kind of beyond the scope of this discussion. Yes. But for example, reishi is one of the important, there's lion's mane. There are, I don't know how many varieties, I think literally hundreds, right? And so putting mushrooms into your diet, taking it back to your kitchen, maybe you walked past the mushrooms in the past, but honestly, try shiitake, try portobello, try the reishi. Bring them home and add them to, say, a salad raw, or that winter hash that I was talking about. Throw some mushrooms in there too. So you will find that they add flavor. And for people who are vegetarian or vegan, portobellos will often be the alternative to a steak. Yeah. Right? Because they have that umami flavor.
Absolutely.
So mushrooms, to me, they're mysterious, but there's no ignoring the fact that traditional Chinese medicine has depended on mushrooms for their nutritional value and their disease-fighting value for years.
So when we walk through that produce aisle and we're thinking about taking back to the kitchen, we see the dried mushrooms, and usually the exotic ones are dried, and we just get the white mushrooms and the chestnut mushrooms that are fresh. What's the value of the dried ones? Would you recommend them, and how would you use them?
Well, I don't mind the dried ones either, because there are now so many tinctures. You know, if you think about treatments that traditional Chinese medicine doctors use, a lot of them are using dried mushroom as a base. But you can even get the dried or I guess you can reconstitute dried mushroom crystals in hot beverages now.
Yes,
which is quite delicious, right? So if you can get fresh, always better. I'm thinking right now of my own farmer's market where I go, and there's a fellow who shows up every Saturday, and he has wood with the mushrooms growing right on it. Wow. It's unbelievable, and he just hacks them off. Do you want this bunch or that one? And he just hacks them off fresh for you. So always fresh is better if you can.
Yes.
But in absent of that, pick up some dried ones and reconstitute them.
And that brings me to another point, and something that I see on and off is, do you wash your mushrooms?
No.
Why not?
Because mushrooms absorb water, and it changes the texture of them. And people sometimes already have issues with the texture of mushrooms. No, what I will do is I might peel them or just brush the dirt off of them. That's it. And you know what? We might want to eat clean, but we want to eat some dirt too.
Yes.
The microbes live there.
The little microbes.
Yes, and that's part of the mushroom value, are the microbes that are associated with mushrooms.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's have a look at the recipe that we associated with the cancer module. Yes. And again, this is available for you to download and print off and work through. But Tosca's going to talk about her badass cancer kicking salad and dressing.
Yeah, there was a PG rating on this. Again, a salad. Gone are the days of limp greens with a chopped carrot and a dollop of ranch dressing, right? Now what I want you to think about is that salad that you're going to make holds the opportunity for your immune system to become strengthened. So I think about every single way that I possibly can to get nutritional value, to increase the nutritional value of that salad and to fight disease within my body. So how am I going to do that? Well, we can go back into the produce aisle, go back into your refrigerator, wherever it is, and start looking at the base. Build the base with greens. And we've talked about greens already, right? We've talked about chard, kale, spinach, Don't forget the bitter greens, watercress, arugula, even the herbs, because the bitter greens do, and parsley, by the way, have an amazing ability to fight cancer. Bitterness is a sign within the plant, as I said before, that it's produced some sort of molecule or agent to fight pests. I don't want these bugs crawling all over me. I'm going to make this bitter molecule so the bugs stay away. We get the value of that when we eat it. Yeah, so I talk a lot about putting herbs in, and I particularly love, in the spring when the chives are ready, and I'm just throwing chives everywhere, even the blossoms. Don't forget flowers work as nutrients too. Well, we know about the broccoli and broccoli sprouts. Broccoli has the indole-3 carbanols, which is great for the detox part of our detoxing, if you will, of the body, which happens on a regular basis. Any sprouts are really fine to put in a salad. Be careful, though, because once I made a salad, I thought, well, gee, if sprouts are good for me, I'll just make a whole salad of sprouts. So nutritionally dense, so loaded with vitamin C that I got canker sores all over my tongue and the inside of my mouth. Just, a quarter cup, a couple of little handfuls, just a few pinches, throw it in your salad. You don't need a whole lot, but they are very, very nutritionally dense. That's why a lot of people sprout their seeds too.
Yes.
So that's a whole other conversation.
Absolutely, and very potent.
Yes. Cauliflower, again, indole-3 carbanols. The cabbage, again, for the same reason, the cleansing of the body. Onion does that too, but onions, leeks, garlic, they all have an ability to be antiviral, antiseptic, antibacterial, so they cleanse us from the inside out. So raw, or put them in there. Get a sweet one, a Vidalia, which is almost like an apple. You can eat it. It's so sweet and juicy. Put that in your salad. Purple's good too. The colors of the fruits and vegetables we eat are signs that they contain molecules that are healthy. Those are what we need to shore up the immune system. Peppers, we talked about the lycopene. Tomatoes will do the same thing. And mushrooms, we're not going to leave them out, right?
No,
so there's a whole list. I encourage you to explore the kinds of, do you have a favorite?
Mushroom.
Yeah.
Portobello.
Portobello, yeah.
Instead of a burger, I will do portobello
big and meaty and
with
delicious.
caramelized onion, sweet red pepper roasted on the top.
Yeah.
Oh,
chuck that
delicious.
in your salad, absolutely. And again, the seeds, okay? Seeds and nuts are great. I particularly love pumpkin for the zinc. Sunflower seeds the same, but I encourage you to do that extra step of soaking if possible before you want to use them. Just soak up a batch. Say Sunday is your food prep day. Soak up some sunflower seeds, soak up some pumpkin seeds, and get them ready to go for the week. The legumes for your protein source, right? Throw the chickpeas in there. Throw mung beans, lentils, quinoa. Soak your quinoa. Then, because we've already talked about this, let's get some of the fermented ingredients there. How we do that? Well, we can use a dressing that is using apple cider vinegar. If you want to thicken it, you can throw some kefir or yogurt, plain, full fat. Some mustard. Mustard is basically like a free ingredient. You can use it as a flavor maker. It's good for us, right?
Yeah.
And then a dollop of kimchi, or a dollop of sauerkraut on top. And you've got this beautiful salad. It's just exploding with goodness. It's going to take you a good half an hour to chew through that. But so good. And you could basically make up that base to last you for the week.
Yes.
And just measure out your portions for lunch or whenever you need to eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 cups of raw greens like that in a badass cancer-kicking salad a day will do it for you. If you want to amp up the nutritional or the cancer-fighting value in, let's just say the immune-fighting value in the dressing, throw some paprika in there. If you like hot chili flakes, also good. And some of that turmeric and black pepper. Sea salt, okay? Because we want, again, all the minerals available to us. And regular table salt only has 2, sodium and chloride. It's got sugar in it. It's been bleached. It's got some anti-caking agents in there. We don't want it.
No.
Unrefined sea salt. It doesn't have to look pretty. It's supposed to look gray, maybe pink, maybe green. It doesn't matter. And you've got 92 trace minerals and elements in there that are good for your immune system.
Okay, well that's wonderful. I think that wraps up our Eat Clean and Cancer module. So again, these handouts can be found as downloads in your Moodle account. And thank you very much for listening, and we will see you in the next module.